Tech Addicts 2025. Episode 16, Decant Rant. This week, less ranting, more raving. Google is ending support for Steam on Chromebooks. Samsung's got new foldable display tech. There's a final outcome to the Epic Games case. And a truck has been nicked with loads of cool phones in it. Hello and welcome to the Tech Addicts podcast. I'm your host, Gareth, and this week, as always, I am joined by Ted Salmon. How are you, Ted?
Hello, I'm a bit hot. You knew I was going to say that, didn't you? And this week it's going to get even bloody hotter, and I'm very, 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 very unhappy. So you better cheer me up during this podcast. It's the sun is blazing down. Apparently on Tuesday it's going to be 30 degrees here, even in North Wales. Bloody climate. I noticed in where you live, in your neck of the woods, in the middle of this week coming, it's lovely. You want to swap?
No, I'm quite happy with that. In fact, I'm going to enjoy it all the more. My family is going to... Oh, it was Windsor and Maidenhead was the stupid title. In Berkshire. Sorry, what was it? No, it's not Berkshire because it's got an E in it. Berkshire. Ah, right. Okay, it's got an E, so it's pronounced Bark. I see. Right. Yeah, so they're going there, which is 33 degrees on Tuesday, and I'll just smile as I sit in my 22 degrees Narn.
Mind you, they'll probably enjoy it. They'll say, "Oh, it's lovely and warm down there. Wish we could live there."
No, because this time last year we were in Corfu and it was 34 degrees and they did not do well at all. I was the only one who could suffer that kind of heat. So they're going to have a disastrous little time. Not that I'm reeling.
Here, I'll tell you what's happened. Something's happened this week. I bought, about a month or so ago, I bought a Motorola Moto Watch Fit, okay? So it's a smartwatch. Okay. It's a bit of a dumb smartwatch. I actually reviewed it because I'm a Motorola fan. And it broke. It stopped working. It wouldn't charge. Ooh. And so I contacted Motorola and I said to them, "What are you going to do about it?" And it was 89 quid, incidentally. It wasn't that cheap, but it was nothing like a Galaxy or anything. But it was substantial money. And so they said to me, "Right, send it in. We'll repair it, and don't send anything with it. Not the box, not the charging lead, not the strap, nothing. Just send the watch." And so I did. And then within literally 24 hours of me sending it in, they'd sent me a new one, completely boxed, brand new, with a new cable, new strap, new everything. And so I've got two of everything. Result, I say. And, yes.
Yeah. It's almost like they were prepared for this.
Yes. Perhaps this one will break as well.
Yeah.
It's a known problem. Well, that's all right, because then I'll get 3 cables, 3 straps.
Yeah. Although it could be the CEO of Motorola who's going, "Oh, nope, Ted Salmon is suffering here. We need to get him sorted out as quickly as possible." And they did. So, round of applause for Motorola. Good.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. We've got stuff to talk about this week, it would appear.
Mm. You were ranting on the last show, weren't you, about that Kyle bloke. Phil Wells jumped into the group in Mewe and he wants to reply to your rant. I've just listened to the latest episode and I'm concerned about Gareth's rant. First off, the legislation came into force recently, but it was enacted some time ago in 2023 under the Conservative government. But it was given time, but time was given for tech companies to react and for the body charged with enforcing it, i.e. Ofcom, to get its act together. As such, it should be Michelle Donelan who is the target for the ire, as Peter Kyle can only deal with what has been legislated. I would contend that Gareth is guilty of shooting the messenger here. Right, well, we'll come back to that one in a second. Turning to age verification and the bit about a government ID system, off the top of my head, I can think of at least 5 government departments where I am already uniquely identified by national insurance number, driver's licence, passport, UTR, whatever that is, unique taxpayer's reference, I've never heard of that, national health number. None of the departments or systems seem to talk to each other, except that there is a link between passport and driving licence systems for the sharing of pictures, and each stores the same information about me. Given that everyone has a national insurance number on their 16th birthday, this would seem to be the logical place for any age verification call to be made. But then again, when has logic applied to anything that gets done in this country? Thank you, Phil. You're right to reply, Gareth.
Fair enough. Thanks, Phil. Comments taken on board. Calling it a rant, I suppose, is a key factor here, in that I did get a little bit excited and I got annoyed, and I was annoyed. But I suppose we're all allowed to do that. And it was at a point where, it's still emerging news. We're still putting together things that we're reading, and not everything can be verified. Not everything can be approved and put into good points and things like that. So we're all working off what we've read about it so far. But when it comes to Peter Kyle, I wouldn't say that I hold him fully responsible for. Sorry, that was a helicopter going overhead. For all the changes, but he has no clue about what he's doing, and that would mean that it's the approach of a moron, because he's issuing comments like anyone who opposes this is on the side of the predators. So he started a bit of a tit for tat, in that he's insulting the British people by anyone who opposes this, which seems to be the mantra of the Labour government currently. And I won't even go into mentioning what happened yesterday and the 400 people who were arrested, including an old woman, under terrorism charges. But he's been told what is to change, and he's carrying that forward. But as an MP, he has a responsibility to ensure that what he's putting forward is correct and right, and that the previous government has done a good job in setting things up. We have seen this government do U-turns on certain things that they don't agree with. Obviously, they agree with this, so he is pushing through this because he believes in the legislation, and that's my feeling on. That's my opinion, and it just shows that he is either a lazy MP who doesn't really want to have to do anything other than what he's told to do by his boss, or B. Well, I don't need a B because the A's are great. But yes, you have come up with a really good solution there, which I don't know why they're not looking at for. Well, probably for nefarious reasons, actually. The national insurance number is a great way, where you just stick in your national insurance number, it can verify you, and that's a good solution that may not have been looked at, or may have been looked at, and issues brought up therein. It's not our job to be looking for solutions for this. It's the government's job, because that's what they're paid to do, and what they've come. It's such a slapdash, pathetic attempt.
You could just use someone else's national insurance number if that's all there was to it.
But currently people are using anyone else's ID. You can go on to particular websites and get your local MP's ID and submit that to Pornhub. And what is it? Keir Starmer now has more accounts online than any one person in the world, which is bonkers. Or Rachel Reeves, or anyone, just your local MP. So that's not an argument that can be used here, but that's not a solution that we need to come up with, because we're not the legislators. They're not protecting people. But the whole reason why they're not using the national insurance number thing is because they are trying to build a database, and that came out in I don't know the name of the show, but I was watching a wee bit of Ricky Gervais just to get his skew on things, because I like to look at everyone's little sort of opinion or whatever on what's going forward. But he showed a highlight from a talk show where a lady put it across to the MP that, this is not effectively for building or for protecting children, but actually Elite was set up to to monitor immigrants coming in. So they're saying it's for children, but it's not actually. It's just a combination of everything being put together so they can build effectively a database. And if you look at the small print of everything that's in the Online Safety Act, it doesn't actually say the reasons why they will be holding people's information for longer than the 24-hour period that they promise, but they will say in certain aspects or certain reasons we will hold other people's identification for an indefinite period. And it's like who, what, and why. We need that to be legislated as well as to what's going on there. Because at some point it's going to be, yes, Yachty have been hacked and all of the information has been handed over to some cyber criminal somewhere, and you all need to go and get new passports and driver's licenses or new identities.
So
that's what we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting ranty with it, and there's an awful lot more behind it. I'm just trying to put in some highlights. I'm not going to sit here for another 40 minutes and just blah, blah, blah about stuff. Even my last rant.
You could start a new politics podcast, couldn't you?
No, because I'm a moron. I can't do that. I share that title with Kyle. But there's plenty of other people out there who you can listen to and things like that. I'm not going to go off on one at all. I know Ted's wanting me to, but I'm not going to. It's a shit show. Everyone has different opinions. There's various different bits of information that we're picking up on, and some people discount, some people credit, and it's just another thing that we have to contend with on a daily basis. And where an 80-year-old woman, not the one I mentioned earlier, but my mother is confronted with this sort of thing when she's trying to do something online, that's far too complex for her to contend with. She barely uses the internet, and she's been asked to send her passport or driver's license to someone somewhere, and that shouldn't be happening. No, it shouldn't be, and it's going to be fraught with issues and possible criminal organizations who can set up very good-looking websites and demand your information under the Online Safety Act.
You contend.
Right, moving on. Ian Barton has written in on rclone, which is a kind of super powerful version of rsync. This is a command line program to manage files on cloud storage. It's a feature-rich alternative to cloud vendors' web storage interfaces. Over 70 cloud storage products support rclone, including S3 object stores, business and consumer file storage services, as well as standard transfer protocols. rclone is a powerful cloud, has powerful cloud equivalents to the Unix commands rsync, cp, mv, mount, is, ncdu, tree, rm, and cat. I'm just taking a break for a minute. rclone's familiar syntax includes shell pipeline support and dry run protection. It is used at command line. Actually, this is not an advert for rclone, by the way. This is just Ian's
Ian, he's a boffin, isn't he? None of this makes... I haven't understood a word of this yet.
But it's the kind of thing that in a couple of minutes you're expecting me to say, and this is sponsored by rclone, but it's not. It's just Ian's 2 cents on it. Did I finish that last? No, it is used at command line in scripts or via its API. Users call rclone the Swiss Army knife of cloud storage and technology indistinguishable from magic. Wow. It is to download all my documents and photos to a server at home, which makes sure there are at least 2 backups of every document. There are 2 computers that each have a backup.
Backups of backups of backups.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out where we are in this line. Because rclone has so many options, it can be difficult at the start. However, some googling usually finds a script that does what you want.
Wow.
So thanks, Ian Barton, and anyone who decided to stay with me whilst I was butchering his little review there. But yes, this is a service that I have heard of in the past, but I've declined to use because it is so bloody complicated. I'm using SyncThing for my meager syncing of things, but rclone and rsync are highly thought of.
Wow.
But they are a bit of a steep learning for most people.
I just go.
But
Just get Ian to pop round and sort it out for you. He knows what he's doing.
Well, it's not popular. There's that many YouTube videos, but even where Ian is describing some of the things that it has, and so many of them require a lot of knowledge to what exactly they are, and how to use them to the best of the ability.
And what you need them for in the first place.
Yes, quite right. CP, MV, mount, IS, NCDU, tree, RM, and cat are all things that mean nothing to most.
Feel free to pop round, Ian, any time. Haven't seen you for ages, in fact years. He popped in and saw me one day in North Wales for coffee, and it'd be nice to see you again, Ian, if you're cycling over this way any time.
Nice. And you can make him another coffee.
Indeed.
On your coffee machine.
AJ Santos is next on YouTube, now second only to BBC as media destination. Goes a BBC.com YouTube thingy. YouTube has become the UK's second most watched media services, behind only the BBC, according to Ofcom's annual report. 20% of Generation Alpha is people aged between 4 and 15 apparently, they turn to YouTube first when switching on their smart TVs. And also, people aged over 55, well, that's me, are watching nearly twice as much YouTube as they did 2 years ago. I think that's true, actually. I'm over 55, and I would say that I definitely, 2 years ago, I would, at least twice as much YouTube. YouTube is when I sit down to watch my telly in the evening, if I'm not picking something out from Plex in terms of a ripped DVD or something, then YouTube just goes on, and I've got so many subscribed channels. You can just go through and see what there is to catch up on. I can spend the whole evening just catching up with YouTube. No need for telly at all. Does that reflect anything like what you do?
100%. I'm almost identical. I like the recommended feed because it seems to know what kind of mood you're into. And I'm wondering that on a daily basis, does it go, well, on a Tuesday, he generally likes to watch retro gaming videos, so we'll throw some of those at him. On a Thursday, he tends to watch DIY stuff, so we'll throw those at them. And you sit down, you turn it on, and it's like, I'd like to see the best games on the television, the top 10 game television. And then on Thursday, it's like how to change a wall fitting or something like that, or or fix a squeaky stair.
Yeah.
I think the algorithm works for certain things. It just doesn't work particularly well whenever you're wanting something. I really find searching for stuff on YouTube through the TV client a real pain. Say you find out about what was it I was the other day and I just couldn't find. Oh yes, a particular mini PC that I was going to buy off Amazon because it was it had been reduced in price, and I went and had a quick look for some reviews of it, and the reviews were coming in. They were sort of like mini PC shootouts, and then there was a lot of AI generated reviews. But then a couple of days after that, these reviews, because I'd watched a few of those to find out exactly what they were about and how they didn't quite match what I was looking for at the time. But a couple of days after that, I was seeing actual people reviewing that bit of hardware after the deal had expired. It's like, why couldn't these have come up whenever I searched for whatever it was, Bosscom or something, or it wasn't Geekon, it was like a Boss at the start. When the deal was going, I could have watched this, and that's 2 years old, and it's got like 1 million views. Why didn't that come up? Instead, I got all of this AI shovelware.
But generally, I find the opposite. It kind of, like you started off saying before that little rant, that it kind of knows generally about what you're about and what you're looking for and what have you. But actually, I'm more likely to go to my subscribed channels list. So I don't look particularly in the what they're suggesting list. I go to the left on my telly, and I've got so many hundreds of subscribed channels. I just go through them and cherry pick what I want to see. It's quite annoying that they put shorts at the top of every listing on the right panel now, but that's another matter, I suppose. But yeah. So there you go. We're all using YouTube as our telly now.
Well, I do think that's good, and I think that's encourageable because you're not beholden to various different producers. The likes of BBC are all still there, and if you want to get the news BBC style, then do that. But if you want to go and get alternative opinions and find other outlets that you might not agree with more, but you might find a bit more palatable, then you can go and get that, because I know a lot of people don't like the BBC. And if you go to Projector Room, you'll hear Mr. Gilday giving off at the BBC or CNN or ABC or any of those kind of news factions. You can find alternative stuff.
Indeed, yes. Talking of alternative stuff, a quick mention for the new look PSC show. Steve Litchfield has retired from the PSC, doing PSC with me as of last show. And so we're having a bit of a kind of month break while we get sorted out. But we'll be back on the 1st of September. I've roped in Joe Hickey, who is a known chappie. He works in the industry, in the mobile phone industry, and he already does a weekly visual pod on YouTube with a mate of his called Sam, and that's really good. And so I thought Joe would be just the ticket. So Joe's agreed to do it. He's enthusiastic about it, and we're going to be starting on the 1st of September. There's a new website, which is phoneShowChat.uk, and I'll put a link to the RSS feed in the show notes if anyone wants to go about it the old-fashioned way. But it should now. We recorded a very short podcast as a placeholder to put in the RSS feed, so it should be in podcatchers now for anyone that's looking. But just be careful, because Steve's old logo and all the rest of the shows, 864, 5 of them, are there as well, and the logo's almost the same, so just be careful which one you pick.
Brilliant. Oh, wow, it's all changed. It's sad to hear that Steve is retiring, but you have to retire at some stage. You can't keep doing this up into your dithering 80s like Ted.
Yes.
I look forward to hearing Joe Hickey as well. I've seen a couple of his videos in the past. They're good fun. Cool. All right, the news this week. We're going to start with Google, because Google is officially ending support for Steam on Chromebook. And there's probably a certain amount of people, a percentage, that are listening right now saying Google supported Steam on Chromebook. And then there's another percentage as well going, Steam runs on a Chromebook? So, Google is supporting the end of support for Steam on Chromebooks, citing the lack of powerful GPU-equipped Chromebooks to support native gaming. The core problem was that the hardware, which made it difficult for Steam games to run smoothly on cloud gaming services like NVIDIA's GeForce Now and Stadia, wasn't it Stadia?
Yeah, Stadia.
Have become more of a viable option aside from Stadia, which
Stadia's gone, isn't it? I think
they closed it down. Yeah. So it offers a better experience for most Chromebooks. This move allows Google to focus their resources elsewhere, acknowledging that the future of high-end gaming on Chromebook is in the cloud, which I think is a key factor that's being dealt with here. If you go to YouTube, you can play games through YouTube, and I'm wondering if they're expand that with their knowledge of what happened with Stadia, their knowledge of how to support Steam through the Chromebook, and what people's trends tend to be. I think they might be expanding YouTube gaming a good bit, and especially with the amalgamation with Android that is upcoming. We're probably going to see some rubbishy solution that's going to take 20 years to get anywhere good. Ted, what do you think? You're obviously a Chrome lover.
I think this is the key, really, is just what you've said, which is the merger between Chrome OS and Android, and this is what this is all about, because Steam is already running on Android, and you can just download it and use it, and so they're going to be shuffling people towards the merged.
Steam
isn't it?
No, well, you can get there's the Steam app, which allows you to use. You can't play games through it, but it allows you to see Steam and interact and chat and stuff like that.
Just goes to show how much I know about it. I'll keep out of it. Back to you.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's Google, so anything in the future, but it is crucial that they're doing this now. They're bringing it in, but it's been an infuriating wait for most people who have Chromebooks. I've dabbled with it, and sometimes I've been able to get Steam on and working and running quite well on my Chromebook, but I think doing their best to ensure older Chromebooks are getting replaced as quickly as possible.
Why doesn't Steam run on Android then? Because if you think of some of the powerful, for example, Samsung tablet hardware, surely that would be able to handle gaming, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's an official support thing as well, but Steam themselves have been focused more on Steam OS as opposed to other Linux distros, Android. So you probably can get it onto Android in some form using various different distros and hacks like that. But yeah, it's generally a PC game environment,
right.
So it has to have some sort of compatibility there. But yeah, it's
a shame.
I don't think we can answer it now.
The future of Chrome OS is kind of in the balance a bit, isn't it? And all those lovely, what was that Chromebook called? The Dragonfly. It was like the highest end Chromebook ever made, and it was like absolutely flying. I've still got Ian Barton's Pixelbook here, the original Pixelbook from 2017, and the specs in that are just staggeringly good. But it's not capable of being considered Chrome Book Plus, which kind of cuts it out of all the AI stuff. But there's no reason why it couldn't be running all that AI stuff, really. And yeah, there have been really powerful Chromebooks made, but clearly not enough of them for stuff like this to be ongoingly supported, which is a bit of a shame, really.
Yeah, but it doesn't do them any merits to make things compatible with hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Just chuck it in a landfill to the next Chromebook. Mm-hmm. Samsung's new foldable display tech could make the Galaxy Z Fold 8 to its sleekest form yet. The Samsung has introduced a new brand called Montflex. Montflex, Montflex, for its most innovative foldable display, which will be showcased at the Korea Display Industry exhibition on August 7th, 2025. That sounds fascinating. Now, that was 3 days ago. I was surprised it was all over the main news. Yeah, the Montflex brand is expected to feature in the Galaxy Fold 8 and the Flip 8 as well, offering improvements in design and durability. Samsung claims that it is the next-gen foldable OLED that can endure up to 500,000 folds without failure, marking a significant advance in foldable technology. Authority. That looks quite interesting. Ted, are you excited about one of these?
Well, no, the 500,000 folds they're claiming is already out there on the Z Fold 7, which means the Z Fold 8 should be 1 million folds, shouldn't it? I think that the change with these folding phones will come. I think they're always going to be niche, to be honest. But the change will come is when you absolutely cannot see or feel the fold. And apparently, word on is that Apple are claiming to be doing this with their first folding device, and when they're ready to do it, they will do it in the usual Apple way, and it will be just perfect. And then everyone else will make it just perfect. But I think that'll be the turning point. And it's not just for phones. You know, this is about folding tablets and folding monitors you can put in your briefcase and take with you, and so it's just anything glass really that is going to fold but doesn't look like it's got a great big fold down the middle, which, to be fair, I think pretty much every folding device so far that is true of. Can't think of one that isn't.
Yeah. My old history teacher looked like he had a fold down the wonder how he...
You know what Mont stands for? MONT, mechanically durable with improved folding reliability. O is for optomechanically flat. N is for narrow bezels, and T is for thin. They've picked a word and then made the Mont fit, haven't they?
Yeah. Gotta get it when they do that. But no, yeah, I suppose it's catchy enough, and it's easy enough to Google Montflex. You'll find that. Mm-hmm. So Google has lost its US appeal over the App Store reforms in the Epic Games case. And this is quite this triumph from Epic Games. This actually means that Google has something like 14 days to go and make some serious changes to Google Play to allow people or developers to choose what payment method they want, to allow for other app stores to appear inside. Actually, I think that particular one, they've got a year, 18 months or something like that to allow for other app stores to be downloaded from the Play Store. But the judge has ruled that Google has to be a lot more allowing when it comes to app store content and payment methods. What do you think of this, or Tedley Deadly?
I'm not really up on this, to be honest. This whole story seems to have been going on for so long. It started off with Apple, didn't it? And then the EU made Apple open things up on their store, and now Google are going to be made to open up theirs, well, in America by the sounds of it. I don't know how the EU fit into this one. But it goes back to, I think, what I've said previously, is that I'm not sure about this whole monopolies thing, and how, if you're going to have a capitalist society, then surely if you start a firm up and you lay down the groundwork and you do it and people like it and buy it and want to use it, why should someone force you? If it wasn't a capitalist society, then I would think different. But we are, and so firms like Google and Apple and probably Microsoft are being forced to undermine what they do, because some legislators are saying to themselves, this isn't fair, other people deserve a chance. Well, if those other people deserved a chance, they could have got their fingers out and developed them themselves. I miss this whole point about monopolies and capitalism, frankly. You're either going to let companies do what they like, or you're going to lock them down and have a more communist-based regime, I suppose. And I'm now talking crap, and so I'm sure I'll get letters.
No, I was quite enjoying that, actually. Carry on, keep thinking.
Yeah.
No, it boils down to Fortnite, essentially, and being able to buy bits and pieces inside of Fortnite, and who gets the money. And Google want share of it, and then Epic, who do Fortnite, they want their own store to be able to sell stuff on without having to give a large share over to Google, because all Google's doing is providing a platform that everybody's using.
But then Fortnite should make their own platform. Epic Games make their own platform. Start making an Android alternative, like Huawei have, incidentally, with putting Harmony up and getting out there and doing it. Then they won't be subjected to the capitalism surrounding monopolies and big firms that do what they like, because they've got their finger out and done it.
Okay, and they keep doing it. They do have a bit of an issue in that Google has such a hold over it that no other company to survive right now. Huawei was the one you suggested. That's out of necessity as opposed to
but they did it, didn't they? It was out of necessity initially.
Really.
But
how many Harmony devices do we have here in the UK?
How many what devices?
Harmony, isn't it the name of theirs? How many of those do we have in the UK?
You can buy Harmony-based devices. Huawei devices are on sale here, but the trouble is that people are not buying them hugely because they don't have Google Play services on it. But if you adopted Harmony OS and you chucked Google to one side in a Linux Mint type way and said, right, I'm going all in on Huawei and all in on Harmony, then you could do it, and those services are growing by the day. My point is that Epic Games are looking to piggyback another platform, and then saying to them, oh, it's not fair, you're not giving us enough of a cut in what you're doing. And I go back to my original point, really. If you're going to have capitalism, people should be allowed to do what they like. And if you come up with a good idea and it runs and it's making your shareholders money, why should they be clipped just because it's not fair on other firms that are also trying to get up there and do it? Well, Huawei did it. And it may have been by necessity, but they did it. They got it, and it may have been Chinese government money that funded it, but they did it.
But if you go to Vodafone today and you try to buy a device that is an iPhone, the only thing you can get is an Android device, and that is all Vodafone are allowed to sell. This ruling changes that. Vodafone and O2 and the networks will be allowed to sell other devices that have other operating systems on it. Google do not have the monopoly here anymore, and they're not allowed to have it. They're not allowed to stop Vodafone from selling other devices with other bits of or other operating systems on it. So it is good news for Harmony OS, because they will be able to sell their devices in the UK. Currently they can't. You have to import it, which they're clamping down on, because they'll have different radios or whatever it is, and that's actually being changed in the future, because what was it Samsung had a couple of weeks ago, we touched on it last week I think, where their other radio technologies are not allowed to be used, where you import a device from far off lands. Can't remember. I haven't.
No, hang on a minute.
Done the research for this show.
Hold on, a cotton picking moment, because I'm just looking at Amazon UK, and there, not via import, is a Huawei MatePad 11.5 running Harmony OS, 253 quid. Amazon,
does it have 3G modem in it, or 4G modem?
No, it's just it's Wi-Fi only.
Yeah, okay, so that doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
It's not a phone, that's a tablet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but if you walk into Vodafone, they're not allowed to sell you something that doesn't have Google Play stores on.
Oh, okay. All right, I didn't know that.
So Google aren't allowed to do that anymore under this. So the whole lot of things, but it's Epic that's brought the weight behind it to open this up. So it's at this current state in time, it is a big win for the customer.
Okay.
It's not to say that in the future we're going to regret this, as other platforms and things like that do arrive, and we start to get Harmony OS on devices that you can buy out of them. But that remains to be seen what's going to happen.
Okay, I probably didn't understand that bit of the Huawei thing. Huawei.
No, it's probably just me badly explaining things.
I do quite like the Harmony OS though. I've got a Honor phone here at the moment, which is allowed, and apparently the Harmony OS is quite similar in many ways to that, and there's lots of things to like about it. So I'd like to give Harmony a try, personally.
Yeah, okay. Why not? But you'll be able to buy a phone without Google Play Store on it, and it could come with maybe or F-Droid or something like that, and you can choose. It actually harks back to the days of Microsoft, whenever Microsoft shipped Windows with a browser on, God forbid. And they insisted that you had to use this browser, which could download viruses straight away onto your new computer if you weren't savvy enough. And where you buy a piece of hardware, it has something on it that you have to use, and that's Google Play. Maybe I shouldn't have said as that, but it is more Google Play services. You can't buy a phone from without Google Play
GMS.
service. Yeah, which stands for Google's
mobile
sucky monopoly.
Yes.
Right. Moving on. Tell us about something fun. The iKKO card-sized AI smartphone with free global internet.
It's a little Kickstarter campaign which is fully funded, incidentally, and it's a phone called an iKKO. It's called an iKKO Mind One, and it looks like if you can imagine a flip phone, but it's not. It doesn't flip open. It's a little square. It looks like a closed flip phone, and out the back of it, there's a little camera that is folded down. And if you want to use the camera of something in front of you, you leave it folded. You leave it closed. And if you want to use it as a selfie, you fold it up and around, and it looks at you, and you can use it as a selfie. It's got 2 operating systems on board. iKKO's own OS, which is a kind of simplified front end, or it's got the whole of the GMS on it, and so you can use all of Google services in a normal Android type way. One of the key selling points of this is that they have included in it, in fact only in the Pro version of it, not the ordinary version, but in the Pro version, which it's going to cost 499 quid. In the non-Pro version is going to be 399. They've included a connectivity chip to make their AI work. I'll put a link in the show notes to a little 4-minute video of some guy from the Far East who has got one in hand and he's demonstrating it. And it does look very interesting. You don't need to have a SIM card in it or an eSIM card in it if you buy the Pro version in order to use the connected AI services, which look as though they're half decent and very similar to, what we're becoming used to in terms of AI services. It just looks very interesting and worth a look. I think people that have backed it are going to get it for 250 quid, I think. But if you wait until it's going retail, assuming it does go retail, and you can get hold of one in the West, then it's going to be $399 and $499 for the one with the chip in it. Looks nice, interesting idea, something different. I applaud it. You?
Yeah, it does look really quite interesting, and it's novel and different. I'm a bit confused by it not having a SIM card or an eSIM card. It has
you can put one
SIM?
in. It's got a slot for a nano SIM card, and it's got eSIM capability. The point is, though, that if you don't want to put those in or use them, you don't have to. If you use the Pro version, you can get connected to run those AI services, not any other services, just their own AI services.
I don't know what a vSIM system is.
Well, that's
what it says it has. That's a built-in free global network with a vSIM.
Well, that's
Googling it, I keep finding vSIM for nursing.
Yes, vSIM I think is just what they've called whatever this system is they're doing. There's apparently there's 140 countries where the vSIM will work, and also there's scrolling down the Kickstarter page now. I've forgotten that there's various accessories that they've already kind of got going, one of which is a QWERTY key case, a bit like the Clicks keyboard. Which is interesting, as I say, I think it's just worth a look. And
I see the little nano SIM video.
Right,
fair enough. No, this is a fun-looking little device. I hope it does good.
Mm-hmm.
The model they got superb too. Nice. Go for it. iKKO. Yeah. Let us know. We'll keep monitoring this and see whether or not it has made its money yet.
It has, yeah. They funded it completely.
Brilliant. Good news, yeah. I like that game. It comes in different colours too.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. A truck carrying thousands of Galaxy Z Fold 7 Flip 7 units got nicked. And it's
not funny.
5,000 of these devices was stolen near Heathrow Airport. The shipment is valued at 13.3 billion won, which is 9.6 million dollars. I don't have that in British, which is where it was from, probably by British people, but it'll be valued at tons and tons of sterling. Mm-hmm. But it was insured, meaning that there's no actual. The incident may indicate the initial popularity of the devices, which have already broken records in India, US, and Korea. That's kind of cool. It's going to be very difficult for those people to offload these. Really,
funny you should mention that, because somebody, we don't know if it's connected to the story, but somebody in our Mewe group got a new Flip 7 or Fold 7, and when they first turned it on, it was blocked and it said this device has been stolen. They contacted Samsung and said to them what had happened. We don't know if it's related to this story, but Samsung checked the person out, obviously, from their account and whatever, and it was brand new in the box, and it was Samsung gave our Mewe member 50 quid for their trouble, and fixed it. So
they didn't say where they got it from?
it was sourced in the UK. They didn't import it. So anyway, we don't know if it's related or not. I think they bought it straight from Samsung on pre-release. So yes, 50 quid up they are.
Right. Okay. So they bought it on pre-release and it was shipped to them by Samsung,
Yeah.
and they put their SIM in and it said it was blocked.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's not that they bought it off Del Boy's Market
Oh
stall
no,
down in
no,
Peckham.
no.
Okay.
Incidentally, just to explain, we're doing a bit more phone stuff in this show, and we're right in the middle of it now, just really because there's no PSC, as previously mentioned, until September. So we thought we had the opportunity to do a bit of phone stuff. So don't send us letters saying, don't do phone stuff on Tech Addicts.
No, it's fine. It'll help them appreciate everything Steve has done for the years. It's Ted and Gareth, that is Ted and Steve. Mm-hmm. And it'll be a good welcome for Joe Hickey coming in whenever he takes over, because they'll go, well, thank God we got Joe instead of Gareth. Right. Nothing just snubbed its biggest market while defending Phone 3 price. This is a news article on Android Authority that discusses the controversy surrounding the pricing of the Nothing 3 phone, or Phone 3, sorry, it's not natural to say that, Phone 3, which is their new flagship smartphone. And Nothing spokesman has stated that the company has no plans to lower the price of the device, citing the importance of margins to sustain investment. Right, okay, there's nothing more worrying than that. We have to charge you more because we could die. This decision has been met with criticism, especially in India, where the phone's price is seen as too high, and we have seen significant growth in years. The article suggests that, Nothing's response has come across as dismissive and out of character for the company that prides itself on listening its users. Ted, what are they selling it for?
899 quid for the 512 version and 799 for the 256 gigabyte version. The reason this story has raised its head, though, is that basically some buffoon at Nothing has said the wrong thing to the media, which was saying all the people in India are all complaining about how expensive it was, and what 3 PR have said to people in India is that, well, we never made it for people in India. So essentially what they're saying is that we haven't made it for you poor people in India who've got no money or limited funds, but to rip off rich Americans. So don't complain about it in India, because we never intended it to be sold in India in the first place, which is very kind of racist and very dismissive and very unfriendly. So, but I'm fairly sure that this is not a company policy. It'll be just some idiot that's been quoted in some press release or something and has said the wrong thing. He's probably been sacked now.
Well, hopefully, yeah, if he's got that kind of going on. But I do wonder what is the price of it, and as it's their flagship, should prices really go up? That's 146% increase on year-on increase in ship. Oh no, that's a year-on. I don't know what price it's gone up to and what it was.
Well, the previous devices before the Nothing Phone 3 was released, all of their previous devices have been mid-tier at best, and the CMF phones have been low tier, and they've been from 150 quid up to about 500 quid. That was where they were pitching things. As soon as they released the Nothing Phone 3, they've claimed that it is a flagship phone, which it really isn't. But that's another matter and a discussion for another day. But they pitched it as such, and they priced it up there, heading towards Samsung prices, and saying this is a flagship, and all of our previous devices are not flagships, so we're dipping our toe in the water of flagships. So it wasn't as though the Nothing Phone 3 used to be cheaper. This is the release price. That's not the point. The point is that this is the first time they've sold a phone that is so expensive.
$, but that's still not those. But then, trying to get that price in a country, what is it, lesser caps, or the terminology is, they would generally be cheaper.
Usually that is the case, but obviously, the story here is that they've just thoughtlessly responded to complaints from India.
Terrible. So, PixelSnap. PixelSnap is charging puck leak, confirms QI2 magnets on Pixel 10. What? PixelSnap charging puck leak. Right, okay, the charging puck has been leaked. Sorry, I didn't read this one earlier on today. This appears...
Right, let me explain. Qi 2, it is alleged that the Pixel 10 range that is going to be announced on the 20th of August, which is in 10 days' time, is going to, so at least some of the models are going to come with PixelSnap, which is ripping off MagSafe from Apple, of course, yes. And the attempts at some other people to do that. Qi 2 has 25-watt charging. We've seen that before with a very limited number of Android devices, but the difference here is that it's going to be magnetic and it's going to clack on the back of it the same as iPhones have. This is allegedly on some of the forthcoming Pixel 10 models, but we won't know for sure until the 20th. But as part of this leak about the PixelSnap, we also got a infographic about the Pixel 10, Pixel 10 Pro, and Pixel 10 Pro XL, basically giving away all of the data, all of the specs for the phone, the cameras, the video, the RAM that's going to be in it, just everything. In fact, there's not much point in watching the event on the 20th because there's going to be nothing for them to tell us. There you go. Pixel 10 is sticking with 6.3 inches. So those that are in the know have said that looks exactly the same as the Pixel 9, which is encouraging because I've got a Pixel 9. And the Pixel 10 Pro series will be available in two different sizes, 6.8 inch or the smaller 6.3 inch. So yeah, there's not an awful lot changing, to be honest. But this just gives it all away. It feels a bit more. It feels like a bit like what Apple used to do with the leap years. They would do a big change, and then the next year it was an S series device, and then the following year was the big change. And it feels like the Pixel 10 year is going to be one of those smaller changes.
Yes. Apologies for those who are listening, because I just thought this was a story about leaked specs and went, no, we'll move on over that. But no, that headline made absolutely no sense at all. I've never heard of PixelSnap, actually. It's gone past me.
Well, it's new.
It is, but I thought I'd have heard of it. This is a new one on me. So there we go.
Okay.
And it makes more sense now. Thank you, Ted, for explaining it very well.
Thank you.
Right. Well, that's an exciting little amendment. Don't Pixel do that? They just keep the same the same design for a couple of years, and then they'll do a bit of a radical design for the next one, and that will get people up in arms, because same with the iPhone as well. It goes for 2 years with minimal changes.
Yeah, I guess that's true. The Pixel 7, no, the Pixel 8 was a different design on the back for sure. And then the 9 is very much like the 10. So, yeah, perhaps the 11 will be another change. Yep.
But, yeah, they're looking phones. I need to see that the Pixel is still carrying.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I don't think we really have any banter to banter on about. I haven't bought anything particularly techy, although I have been looking, but I noticed that one of the things that I went to buy during, I did buy a couple of things, and I'm coming to them in the bargain basement, but one of them in particular is something that you're going to touch on and I like there instead, so we could spend a bit more time in the bargain basement section, if you like.
I should have saved my Motorola watch fit story for the quick band section. That would have fitted in nicely there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but that's fine. So, in the bargain basement this week, I'll start with a wee deal on a Chromebook, because I reckon they're going to have a fire sale on these fairly soon. And why not start with the Lenovo IdeaPad Flex 3 Chromebook, which is down in price from £350 to £189.99. Now, this is a Celeron version, the N4500, with 4 gigs of RAM. Oh, God, that was painful to say that out loud. And 128 gigabytes of eMMC storage. So it might do for some, but it's got that sort of 360-degree screen flip jobby. Use it as a tablet as well, or prop it up. And it's actually offering me 5 months at £38. It do for some. If you just need a quick, dirty Chromebook for I don't know, going back to school, a kid doing their coursework and Google Docs, that kind of Ted?
It would do my dad, someone that just has very limited use. And you're right, at this price, something that, because this has been reduced from 350 quid. I'm not sure how often it was 350 quid, but it folds back on itself, and you can put it in tent mode or city uppy mode, whatever that's called. It might be low specs, but for the right person using it, it'll be absolutely fine. And I say on the side of it, it's got a full-size USB-A port, a port for 3.5mm, and it looks like there's even a micro SD card slot on the side there.
There is.
Yeah, so in that respect, it's not that bad. It's just, as you say, the RAM is low for anyone that is not going to be, if anything demanding going to be, anyway, yeah, nice little bargain.
Yeah. And it's also, there's an Intel Pentium version of it as well, but it still is discounted as well. Just don't want that Celeron, the Intel Pentium Silver N6000, which has 8 gigabytes of RAM. That's 250 quid, but that's down from 430.
8 gigs of RAM. That does make it significantly better. Moves it up a bit away from people like my dad, I think, into someone that might be. Anyway, yeah, nice little device. The Anker HDMI switch. I needed one of these last week, and I went on the hunt, and I found this one. It's reduced to 10 quid from 16 quid, I think it was. Yeah, 16 quid, and it's just a very simple Anker HDMI splitter switch thingy. If you've got a device that has only got one HDMI port, you can turn it into 2, and that's it. It's got a little pressy button on the top, and you plunge it in to change it from one to the other. Simple.
Oddly enough, I went on the hunt for this as well, but a slightly more capable of doing more things. I have something similar to this, which is 4 around it, and I've plugged it in, and it seems to be not working terribly well with one of the USB, the HDMI cables that I have out of many consoles. I'm setting up a bit of a retro. So I went online and I found the Ugreen HDMI switch 5-in-1 out, which is £27. It's down from £36, and it's got a wee remote control as well. They use outputish, beefier. It's got a wee remote control that allows you to flick between HDMI's 1 to 5. There's also a 3-port version as well, which is 1527, that has an HDMI out as well on the front. But I think these things are a wee bit crucial because you just never get enough HDMI ports. The wee TV that I have with my retro consoles on it only has one, which seems a bit misery. It's got one SCART, so it's like it's designed for people not to connect anything at all, ever.
And tellies as well. If you want to plug more than one thing into a telly, they quite often have only got one port on. But yeah, some nice little bargains, including that Ugreen one. That Ugreen one looks like it needs to be powered, whereas my little Anker one is simple and doesn't. Yeah, but yeah, that's cool. Oh, your next one. Sorry, I'll let you go with it and comment after.
Oh, right, sorry. Okay, yes, because I kind of... Oh, sorry.
It's okay. No.
I have a couple of these, but they're slightly different flavour, but I saw these and they were... the deal is gone.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah, they were $11.99. They're $13.99,
Oh,
which is the original price.
dear.
They're those sort of under-cabinet kitchen lights. They're sensor. They're great in the bathroom. You stick them in. But at the $13.99, I still think they're particularly good value. And you get 2 in a pack. There's 84 LEDs inside and a bunch of different modes and settings of different light like that and different heats and stuff like so that you can light your way to the toilet and not bang your foot or plug or in the way. Help a child or an elderly person to the toilet, or even just put them up in the wardrobe and be able to see your clothes.
What, the child in the wardrobe?
Yes, you can put the child up.
Did you say you'd got some of these?
I have a similar one, not these, but I've been looking to get more, and I found these and thought that'll do quite nicely. But I didn't purchase them, and now I'm a bit pissed that I didn't purchase them because they're £2 more expensive.
All I was going to say was that on Whatever Works some years ago, Aidan and I dipped our toe in the water and bought some of them. Must be 5 years ago. They weren't as posh as these ones, and they weren't USB-C. They were micro USB. So they were well old. But both of us they just stopped working. You couldn't charge them after a while, and they hardly turned on when they were supposed to. When you opened the wardrobe door or cupboard door or whatever, and they were just crap. So you would hope that 5 years later down the road, they would have solved that, and these ones actually do work nicely. It's a shame that they're not now cheap enough to give it a try.
Well, I went looking for the ones that I have, and I can't find them anywhere because I've had them for 3 or 4 years. Since USB-C came along, I bought them straight away because the ones that I had broke or micro. And my wife uses them outside from time to time as well, to stuff in the garden. And they've sat out all night, and I've brought them back in, and they're in the bathroom with, steamy and things like that from time to time, and they just keep going. I love them. The charge lasts for about 3-4 months maybe, and I have them staggered, so I just charge one every 2 months. Great.
It's a shame you can't find them.
Yeah, I had to look through my basket, and they're just not showing there that I was previously bought. But they were a good bit more expensive than the cheap one that you find, and there were 2 in a box, and I think it was about 30 quid.
Okay.
But then that was an emerging thing.
Yeah, back in the micro USB day.
Yeah, at the end of it.
Yeah. Right, Samsung Galaxy S10 FE has been reduced from 750 quid to 600 quid. And I completely failed to do my homework here because I was going to look up what the difference is between the S10 and the S10 FE Plus thingy, and I completely forgot. So unless you know, we'll move on quickly.
No, I'm having a quick check to see if I can work it out, but I don't see too many difference in it. But I am getting offered actually £99 and 80p for 5.
Oh, I'm being offered £49.92 for 12 months. I'm the favoured one.
Oh wait, no, that's me on the F10 regular one.
Oh.
The F10 Plus, I'm not getting offered anything. But you can get it with 30% off Buds 3.
Oh yeah. Buds 3 are nice. I've got a set of those. They're really nice.
Yeah.
If you live in the Samsung
They're
world.
Nice yes. Next up is something that I did, but it's currently charging out my shed. Because I thought I'll use in an ingenious way. They are designed for a particular solution, but I've decided to go all rogue and do something different. This is the SPQ. How do you pronounce that brand?
No
Ted?
idea.
The one with the lowercase s at the start of it.
No idea. You
Solar outdoor.
You did a good job of that.
Okay, there's a first. Solar outdoor security sensor lights. This is $9.98, down from £14.
Wow.
It's a 288 LED outdoor garden light, which is 3 modes. It's a floodlight type affair. It's waterproof. Just reading the remote control solar panel powered floodlight. And it comes with a wee solar panel and a long cable and a wee remote control to turn it off and on. It's cheap as chips. It's made entirely out of plastic and LED. But what I did was I mounted the solar panel on the outside of my shed and put the solar light, or the light itself, inside the shed to provide me with a light inside the shed. And it has a function that is 15% of the peak brightness. So whenever you walk inside, the sensor will detect you and turn on at 15% of the peak brightness while you're walking around. I don't know how long that lasts because I haven't had a full chance to play with it, because I only put it up yesterday at about 4 o'clock, and I went in, turned it on, it lit up for a couple of seconds and then turned off again. So I just, inside of my shed, able to run down and get a tool in the evening and not have to worry about plugging things in or having battery, having things charged up, like with the last thing we were talking about, whenever illumination. So I'll let you know on the next show whether or not this was good. And for $9.98, I'm quite happy that this, if it serves the purpose for any length of time, it will have worked.
That's incredible. You get the solar panel as well. It's not just the light.
Yeah.
Wow.
They are quite small. The solar panel is maybe about 5 inches by 2 inches or 3 inches.
It's interesting.
They're not terribly big.
On the diagram, it looks nothing like 5 inches. It looks like about 2 foot across, and the light itself looks huge as well.
It does. The light itself is maybe about the size of a blazer pocket is what pops into my mind. The breast laser pocket, because it's that kind of shield shape with the bottom.
That is so misleading. They should
but
be.
They're always like that, aren't they?
Yeah. Anyway,
Well, it was one thing that I was worried about whenever I was buying it. It was like, is this going to be so big? It's going to be domineering and blinding me whenever I go into the shed. But at that 15% thing, when it turned on, it was actually quite a nice brightness for me to be able to work on, and you can tilt it and things like that. So you can tilt it down on the workbench, and it's a long enough cable that I've got a 10-foot shed, so it stretches all the way along.
very cool indeed. Right, now, my next one is making me think that I need to upgrade my keyboard. Our keyboards, because the Logitech MX keys, which we both got, it now seems to have an S Plus version, which is an upgrade to the one we've got. It's been currently reduced from 120 quid to 83 quid. And I went off looking in Gemini, asking Gemini if I need to upgrade, and she told me that it moves it up from the unifying USB receiver to the Logi Bolt receiver thingy. It's got some new software which lets you control the backlighting better, and pretty much that was about it. And I rested back thinking to myself, oh good, I don't need to upgrade. So if you want the newer version of the ones we've got, everyone, it's currently reduced from 120 to 83, as I say, and we don't need to look back.
No. It's strange that there's really not too much in physical change as well. Obviously, it is kind of the perfect or something that bored quite a while, and you start going and looking for that's never going to measure up to it. Next keys. So yeah, but I do have it on good authority that the Logitech MX4 mouse is going to be coming fairly soon, the MX Master 4. And we could see that before the end of the year. So waiting to see if the two of them being sold together or mouse.
Very good idea.
Yes. So that'll save you 82 quid for now. And then whenever it comes out, it'll be 110. Next up is a Ugreen 2.5 gigabit per second network switch. This has 5 2.5 gigabit Ethernet connectors on it, 4 of which are numbered, and then the 5th one is the aggregation one. And then there's one 10 gigabit connector as well, or Ethernet connector on there as well. And these things were ridiculously expensive this time last year. But Ugreen are selling this for £39.90, and that's down from 50 quid. I bought a similar one made by, I don't even begin with S or something like that, because it was a wee bit marked down in price, and upped my, sold Sodola. That's what it's called,
Sodol.
Yeah, which is actually down to 40 quid now. I bought it for about 70, and that was on a sale. But yeah, if you have a good network card in your computer which does 2.5 gig per second, and you transfer stuff around your home network, then it makes sense to get one of these. Sometimes 10 gigabits per second is a bit of overkill for most people, but obviously those who want 10 gigabits per second are going to enjoy 10 per second. But 2.5 I think is a really sweet spot for anyone, and this switch allows you to, if you've got a NAS, be able to send larger files quite quickly. Cut down on some of the congestion that you can generally get sending from A to B. Ted, I don't think you would need one of these.
It does take me back to the days in the office when I was working, when we were setting up the network, and it just took me straight back to those days. We had banks of these switches stuffed behind cupboards and stuff, and we had one expert person on this in our staff who knew what he was doing, and rigging up the print, the commercial size printer to it all, and then making, and it's always going wrong, and I was always shouting to him saying, I can't get connected, and he would fiddle about with these boxes and get it all working. Yeah, it took me straight back to then. I haven't actually seen one myself, I don't think, since those days.
Well, I think I have one in most rooms, actually. I've got 2 in this room, and then I've got 2 in the living room, 1 in the dining room. It takes the pressure off the Wi-Fi network, and it gets you faster speeds to especially smart TV or issues that people can have that way, I reckon.
Very good. Right, my last one is back to Anchor, and it is that thing that I've spoken about before in Bargain Basement, which is seriously cool, and I really wish I needed one. It's the power bank, which sits on a host, a cradle, and you get the whole lot. It's reduced from 230 to 170 at the moment. And it's basically a pick up and run power bank, which is always charged because it sits on its pogo pins on the base cradle. But if you take the power bank away, give it to your wife to take it to Windsor with her, she will have that, but you can still use the base thing because that's powered as well, and you've got ports in that as well. It's a really nifty bit of kit and a great idea. It's got 100-watt pass-through charging, 3 ports, 250 watts charging from the power bank itself when you take it away, and a lovely infographic lit up LED screen thingy or LCD screen thingy. And yeah, it just looks lovely. I'd love to have one of these, but I just got no use for it. You buy one.
I can't. I'm in Northern Ireland. It's not available for me to be able to purchase at all. Although you can buy the charging for £45, which seems for 3 ports.
But
no, it's a lovely idea. It's a great addition to it.
Super.
All right, well, that about brings us to the end. Ted, you'll be back on the phone show in September, but in between now and then, Tech Addicts Pod.
We will. 3, in fact.
Hopefully, yeah, God willing. You can get in touch with us by emailing me at gareth@techaddicts.uk. You can find us on Twitter at techaddictsuk. I also have my own Twitter, which is X, which is at Gareth Myles, Myles for that. I'm on Mastodon, Blue Sky, and of course there's www.garethmiles.com and www.techaddicts.uk. If with Steve retiring, will PodHub continue to exist?
Will what?
PodHub UK?
He's going to carry on doing PodHub UK. In fact, Steve's going to continue to do bits and pieces as he's got time to in his retirement. So he's going to carry on doing YouTube Shorts, which these days tend to usually be about Apple stuff, so of limited interest to me. But he's going to carry on doing that. PodHub UK, he's not going to change anything about his website where all that's hosted. And so, that side of things will just carry on as normal. And I link out to all of that stuff also at tedsalmon.com. That's my homepage. All the audio podcasts, all the other stuff, including the new home for PSE, which is phonesshowchat.uk. That's got 2 S's in the middle, so beware. Phones show chat. And if you want to buy me a copy, then feel free. I shall be delighted to receive it from you. You can do that at paypal.me/Ted Salmon. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Well, there we go. About an hour and 20 minutes. Go back about your lives, and we'll speak to you next week with another rip-roaring show full of, well, not rants. I won't be next.
Hurrah!
And Ted hurrahing. Great. Take care now.
Bye.